You're I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but you're sort of an expert on this. And I've had the chance to play against LeBron in the playoffs too. But it's incredibly difficult to beat a LeBron team 4 times in a series.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys in 16 lose to them in the Eastern Conference Finals. In the next 2 years, you guys, when you were in Toronto, lost to them in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And he, for whatever reason, and I want to get your insight on this, for whatever reason, he's just unbeatable in the playoffs. He's so tough to beat. And it takes just a certain level of intellect to even get to his level.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, I remember for years I always caught so much flack, you know, us being the better team or whatever we was at one point in the Eastern Conference Finals, and people not realizing, like, it's tough to get past this motherfucker. I don't care who you are, you know what I mean? And see him come to the West and be able to do the same thing, it's a testament to his greatness and, you know, his IQ to the game when he go out there and play. You know, I remember, like you said, 16 when we went to the Eastern Conference Finals. We won game 3 and 4, and it was like a whole nother mindset click for him in those next 2 games where it was like, yo, it's closeout. Like, and I remember, I don't know if I even told nobody other than my close circle. I remember it was a play we was trying to run, and one of our teammates forgot the play, and Bron told him the play. Like, it was some crazy shit. It was some crazy stuff. We called it a play, and he was like, what? And Bron told him what our play was. You know, and it just shows you, like, how locked in this dude be when it comes to winning time, man. And you see it when he out there on both ends, man. On both ends, and that's just a testament to who he is, why he been to 10 finals, why he's on the verge of getting his, you know, 4th ring. Everything, man, it's crazy.
The playoffs lend itself to a player of LeBron's intelligence because he finally has, not that he doesn't know this stuff during the regular, but in the playoffs, you have time to prepare. You have time to really break down film. You have time to really break down a scouting report. You have time to memorize all these plays. And for someone like him, I mean, look, he's probably got most of the stuff memorized in game 1 and 2, but by game 3, he's so dialed in. He knows everything you're doing on both sides of the ball.
Everything, both sides, every player, weakness, strength, plays, you know, and it's hard to find people like that these days that really live, sleep, breathe the game of basketball.
Do you ever think about a what if? Like, what if LeBron was not in the East when I was on those great Raptors teams? Like, you might have a couple championships.
For sure. I mean, listen, we always said that, and it was crazy to even think about it, because going into the playoffs, our whole mindset was, we just gotta get past one guy, you know, and we're gonna get to where we gotta go. We're gonna make it to the finals. You know, we worry about whoever we play when we get to the finals, but it was always trying to get past one guy, you know, and that was the toughest test to be able to get past. And, you know, not to take nothing away from nobody, but, you know, you see the year he left, you know, they was able to got there and able to win a championship. So now for me to be in the West and LeBron to come to the West and see him in the finals in the West, it's a crazy thing. It's crazy.
That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, so that kind of leads me into this feeling that you had watching the Raptors finals run last year. And as someone who's played on multiple teams, and you started with Toronto and you helped build that franchise into an elite team, so your sentiments are probably a little different than some of my sentiments as I left other teams, because I didn't have probably as much invested as you did in Toronto. But I know every time I've left a team, I'm completely torn. There's this period of time where you're actively rooting against them, and then there's a period of time where you accept it and you're like, all right, I want to see my friends win. You know,
Yeah.
I like this year with the Clippers. Like I would have loved it if Doc had won a chip with LA. That would have been great. I would have been happy. I 3 years ago, probably not. So I'm just curious about those emotions that you went through last year during the playoffs.
It definitely was tough, man. It was tough from the standpoint of, like you said, I was there 9 years, went through everything, accomplished so much things that people said we'd never be able to do. And that, I think for me, that's what drove me in my whole career. All the naysayers, like my whole time there, of us trying to build a winning program, and for me to turn into an all-star starter, see the all-star game, come to Toronto for the first time, make the playoffs, win every type of award you could think of, and kind of trend in the right direction. And for the one person that we only lost to leave, and us not to have a chance to be able to see what that would have turned into, for me personally, then me leave, then to see those guys get to where they was going, it definitely was tough. I wouldn't even lie. It was tough to see it, especially once we lost in the playoffs, and you sit back and you see them winning, then you kind of feel like, damn, was that a problem? You know what I mean? Like, then you'd be like, nah, I wasn't a problem. Because we was doing the same thing. We just couldn't get past one person. So you're dealing with those type of emotions every time you watch it, every time you turn on the TV. And the shit was so crazy to me, because every time they did something, it was like, if I went on social media, if I turned on something, my name was always in the narrative too. That's what made it worse. It was like, yo, all right, just leave me alone out of it. Do what you gotta do. But I had such a close bond with all those guys. Obviously, everybody know me and Cal relationship, but especially those young guys, man. We molded those guys, and I never seen young dudes work as hard as they work when it comes to like a Freddie VanVleet, a Norm, a Pascal, like all these guys. Like I used to go to the G League games, and they'd show up with us the next morning for shoot around and play with, like, they were so locked in. So to see those guys go out there and perform the way that they perform, I was always constantly talking to them, keeping them positive. If they lost a game, if they was going through something, if they needed whatever, through the whole process, I talked to them. And as soon as they won, I texted everybody a long text, and congratulating them. I was happy for them, because I knew how rough it was being there, playing there, man. It was tough playing there, man. Like, nobody never gave us nothing. We had to fight, earn everything we wanted. And, I think for me, that was the part that hurt the most for me, because it's like, I finally wanted to feel that positive side of everything that we kind of went through all those years to get to that point. But, the city, I'm always invested in them differently. The everybody who worked for that organization, I still stay in contact with to this day. So, it was tough. I had my moments where I'm like, I can't watch this shit. I'm turning this shit off. And I had my moments to where it's like, I just want to see my guys do well. You know what I mean? I want to see my guys do well. I want to talk to them, everything. So it was dope. And even to see Cal after they won it on the podium, shouted my name out, everything. So it to me, it made it feel like it was bigger than basketball at that point. But, I definitely had my moments.